So most of my life, I've always been overweight. It's something I've struggled with from when I was very young, from the time I was born. All I can remember was I was always the overweight kid, and I never really cracked the code on how to fix it up until recently. So what would happen is in the past, right? I would I would have a goal. I would like set the goal of like losing weight. And I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna follow this diet. What would happen is I would find this new plan, this new, the exciting part. Oh yes, this new plan, I'm gonna do it. I'd do it for a few weeks, and then I'd revert back to my old self, where I'd be eating junk food and buying takeout and all sorts of rubbish. And for years, literally for years, I struggled with just the ability to lose weight. It is something that's fairly difficult for most people. I struggle with it now, but I'm making progress towards losing weight. So far, I've lost about 22 kilos. So it's going to go down slowly and slowly, and eventually I won't be fat anymore. So the thing is, though, I always believed that there was this like magic diet that you could follow. The reason I did was because I would see these videos of people having these like weight loss transformation videos where they go from like super fat to then super ripped, or if it was a woman it was super fat to like very very skinny. And I would always get upset because I'm like, I'm trying here. It's not that I don't want to lose weight. I really really do, but I don't know, I couldn't seem to crack the code. I always thought that there was some magic pill, or that they had some trick. But really, they just fixed a few things that I'm going to teach you to fix now, and hopefully it'll help you on your journey. So the thing is, when I would see these transformation videos, I would think, okay, I'm gonna start training again. I'd get motivated. And then what I would do is I would end up just kicking the bucket down the road. I'd be like, okay, you know what? I'll start next week, or I'll start in a few days, or after this weekend, I'll start off. Let me just, today's the last day. This week's the last week. Whatever excuse, I would make it so that I could be like whatever. I could eat whatever I want, continue doing what I wanted, and I'll start it later. I never ended up starting it, because what happens is in the moment you need to decide that you're going to start. Because if you kick it down the line, you're not going to start. You have to start now. So that's the first step. Just start. The thing is, when I was thinking, when I would go to the gym or want to go to the gym after not doing it for so long, I'd be like, okay, you know what? I need the perfect diet. I need to make sure that everything is perfect. The problem is though, you're not going to be perfect. When I first started, I wasn't perfect, but I really wanted to be. I was like, no, no, no. If I go to a gym, I don't want to look like those guys who get made fun of in videos, who are like, oh, they don't know what they're doing, because they're lifting weights incorrectly, they're doing whatever. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to wait till I'm at a point where I'm perfect, and then I'll go. And then someone asked me a question. It's like, how are you going to get good? How are you going to go from sucking to not sucking if you don't practice? The whole point of learning a new skill, gymming is a skill and training is a skill. You have to suck at first and you get better. That's the only way you're going to improve. That's the only way I improved. I went from someone who didn't know much about training and dieting to someone who now knows a decent amount of about training and dieting. So you have to just start. You have to put whatever concerns you have aside of looking stupid or feeling stupid, or whatever your people might say in your community. Oh, why are you going to gym? No, you look fine. Oh, you're eating healthy. That's rabbit food. All that stuff you'll deal with, and you have to basically push past it, because there'll always be resistance at every level. When you lose weight, people will tell you shit. When you're fat, people will tell you shit. The only constant is people telling you shit, so whatever you do, it doesn't really matter. So the thing is, when you do start going to the gym, what I did was I went to the gym and I just went on the treadmill. So I'd walk on the treadmill for like 5 minutes, and I just made the habit of being consistent. Eventually I upped it to 10, 20 minutes, but that wasn't the most effective way. This is the next step, and this is the best way to train. Weightlifting. Now, when I first started weightlifting, right, I had this idea that, when I go to gym, I'm gonna go there, and after I lift it, after a few sessions, I'm gonna be super jacked. I'm gonna be lean. I'm gonna be like those big bulky guys. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. If there's anyone here that has concerns that they don't want to be too big, you won't be very big. It takes a lot of discipline and a lot of effort to become that big. and not many people have that in them. I don't even think I have that in me. To become like people like Chris Bumstead and all that, that's insanely hard to do. Some people say it's not naturally possible, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But to get super huge and bulky takes years and years and years of training. It's not something that can happen in a couple months. So what I do is I would start weight training and going to the gym and just doing a little bit of weights. And what I found was there are two main benefits to lifting weights. One is, as you lose more weight, you will look better. When you have more muscle on your body, the less body fat you have, your skin eventually will like close and it will tighten around your figure, your physique. If you have built muscle, it will tighten around your muscle and you'll look good. You'll look like those guys who, where they wear shirts, the shirts fit nicely on their chest and their arms are big so that, their entire like tricep and bicep fits the shirt. That's one thing when you lose weight. The second thing is that when you put on muscle, what ends up happening is your body requires more nutrients because your muscles are bigger, right? So think of it like an engine, right? And a bigger engine needs more fuel than a smaller engine, basically, right? When you put on muscle, you grow your engine from like a 4-cylinder to a 6-cylinder to an 8-cylinder to a 12-cylinder. You continuously grow it. The bigger the engine, the more fuel it requires. The more your body will burn calories. The more muscle you put on, the more fat you'll burn, the more weight you'll lose. In essence, that's basically what it will do. So we've gone over weight training, the fact that you need to weight train to build muscle, right? The thing is, muscle itself is a protein. Now, protein, you get carbs, protein, and fats. And this goes into my next point, diet. Your diet is incredibly important. The training is important, training is important, but not as important as dieting. The split between dieting and training for your goals, right, is split 80-20. 80% of your weight loss goals will come from dieting and 20% of them will come from training. Training is important, but not as important as dieting. If you put garbage in, you'll get garbage out. That's just the way it works. If you eat like trash, you won't be able to perform and your body won't be able to build muscle properly and effectively. So the thing is, right, dieting, it can be very complicated. You can get all these plans where you go keto, low carb, intermittent fasting, this and that. I don't want to overwhelm you because what we need to do is we need to get you started. This is what I did that helped me start. One thing I did, I cut out sugar. No sweets. Sweets or any artificial sugar or whatever it is, no, you cannot have it. Just I'm going to list a whole bunch of stuff. Try to do one. If you can do one, consider it a success. Consider it a win. If you can go and just cut out sweets, but you don't do anything else in this video, it's fine. You will make a lot of progress. So no sweets. The second thing is I only drink water. Aside from tea, I'll have tea every now and then. But aside from that, no Coke, no fuzzies, no fuck all. Just water. That's all I have. The third thing I did was I used to like to eat healthy, right? But I would put a lot of salad dressing on my salad and a lot of sauce on my chicken breast that was grilled. And it kind of defeats the purpose. Sauces, you can add them, but a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons, not too much, because there's sugar in there and there's a whole bunch of other stuff that isn't very conducive to you. Obviously, going from eating McDonald's chips and burger to now having chicken breasts with maybe a little bit too much sauce, it's easy to cut back. It's obviously a better option, but you want to try to dial it in, Okay. The third thing I found was that I would always struggle to feel full. I would never feel full. I don't struggle with that anymore because of 2 reasons. One, because I cut out sugar. Because sugar has a very big impact on hunger. And I'll probably go into, let me know if you want me to do a video on that about how sugar affects your diet and the effects of it. Let me know in the comments below. So 1, I don't have a lot of sugar. And 2, I eat vegetables. Now, I don't eat a lot of vegetables. Most of the food I have is it's very high in fiber, and the thing is, it's very filling. So I don't really get hungry anymore. But I add vegetables just because if certain meals aren't as heavy as others, so I add vegetables. So now this is all well and good. Now you have the what to do. You know what to do. I knew what to do when I first started. Problem is, I couldn't stick to it. I would stick to it for a little bit, then I'd fall off. Stick to it a little bit, fall off. That was the problem I faced. So I'm going to give you the tips on how you can follow these principles. The one thing you have to, there's two things. There's two main things that once I started doing these, I really saw big improvements. The first thing is meditation. Now, what meditation is not like this. It's this idea of you need to sit down and breathe and like try to clear your mind. But what a lot of people get wrong is that just like going to the gym, right? Just like starting any new practice, you're going to be shit at it. You're going to suck. You're not going to be able to keep your mind still and not think about, your mind will run everywhere. What you need to do is you need to let it run. If you go and you think about, oh, what kind of stresses, what kind of assignments you have tomorrow, I have to do this, I have to do that, just be like, okay, yes, okay, and let your mind play through these. Once it plays through these, eventually, after a long enough time of meditating, your mind will center back and it'll be blank. For a little bit, then it'll start going off again, then it'll come back. And each time you go from thinking about something and bring it back. So you go and you start thinking about your assignments, you're like, okay, breathe. And you focus on your breath, that's like 1 rep. It's a mental rep. And you need to get a lot of reps in before you see results. If you go to the gym and you lift, if you do bicep curls, if you do 1 bicep curl and you're like, why is my arm not growing? Why are my arms not growing? Because you haven't done enough work. You have to go to the gym literally hundreds of times and do the same thing hundreds of times before you see progress. So think about that. You started something and you're like, why am I not seeing progress? Because you just started. The second thing that will help you is deep journaling. Deep journaling, what this will allow you to do is when you get these intense cravings and this hunger for stuff, generally what it is it's actually a cope. I found that I used it to cope with a lot of stress. I used food as a way to cope with stress. And there's an interesting thing where, because I used food to cope, my diet was also bad because there's only certain foods that can help you cope. I can't go into that right now, but let me know if you want a video on that. It's kind of similar to the sugar thing. It'll probably be one video. So what you need to do is you need to figure out why you have these urges. Why do you want that chocolate? Why do you want that ice cream? What is it that about that makes you happy? Is it distracting you from something? Is there a problem in your life that you don't want to acknowledge and you eating comforts you? You need to journal and think, okay, why? I want this. Why do I want this? It tastes nice. Okay, why does it taste nice? Okay, it tastes nice because of that. How do I feel when I taste it? I feel good. How do I feel right now? I don't feel so good. Why don't I feel so? And you break it down and you get to the root problem. And then from there you can fix that problem and you'll fix your diet. Generally speaking, a bad diet actually stems from another problem, which is like bad mental health. Bad mental health will probably causes more bad dieting than a lot of other stuff. So I've managed to make a lot of progress in my life. If you want my help, personal help one-on-one, you can look in the description of this video and you can book a call with me. Alright, cheers guys.